Just your daily reminder that your marriage doesn't have to be toxic in order for you to want to leave it. I'm Leigh Marie. I help women gain acceptance and rebuild self-confidence after divorce. My first husband was a good man, and I divorced him. If you feel like you've grown apart and you're just not compatible, or you don't make a good team, or you're just not happy, then sometimes a divorce is the best thing for everybody. The odds of you even being born are 400 trillion to 1. Your literal miracle of an existence is not to just sacrifice your happiness for the rest of your life. If you're feeling guilty about doing what was best for you and your well-being, then there's some stuff that you probably need to work through that has nothing to do with the other person.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
Hang on a second. Because you're a miracle of life, it's totally okay to destroy the happiness of another man, even though he's done nothing wrong, just so long as you don't have to sacrifice yours? That's kind of messed up. Now, I'm not a marriage expert. I just possess common sense. And I can tell you that marriages have little to do with happiness. They're more about trust, loyalty, and respect. The happiness comes afterwards. It's almost impossible for anybody to be happy in a marriage all the time. There are ups and downs, good times and bad, and they require work, sacrifice, and compromise in order for those marriages to last. That's why the vows are for better or worse, but I get it. You need to pretend to feel unhappy so you can abuse the court system to force your husband to pay you a whole bunch of alimony. This has nothing to do with guilt. It has everything to do with you wanting to have fun at the expense of a man who did nothing but try to do right by you. And unlike the man who can build himself up once again, you're just going to grow alone while your cats hungrily eye your slowly fading body. Just waiting for the day that you give up the mortal coil. So have a nice day, lady. Hope the divorce was worth it.
Don't go away, man. Just go away.
If you tend to always find yourself in a lot of situationships, but you want to be dating people for real, then you got to start thinking about what your bare minimum rules are when it comes to dating. So I'm going to share with you my bare minimum list as someone who used to be in a lot of situationships and now actually dates people.
Should be interesting.
Number 1, texting you first. There's no reason to praise someone for texting you first. That is exactly what they should be doing if they're pursuing you. Which leads me to 2, responding to texts in a timely manner. If they like you, they're not going to leave you unread, nor are they going to make you wait 4, 5, 6 hours for a response. Number 3, walking on the outside of you. So this applies when you're walking on the street. Usually the guy is supposed to walk on the outside of you to protect you and keep you safe. I was at the beach with this guy and the waves were huge, and he deliberately made us switch positions in the way that we were walking so he would be closer to the shore break. It's little things like that that are super hot and that you deserve.
Nobody cares what you think.
What we have here is a woman openly bragging that she's no longer in a situationship, but is currently quote-unquote dating, even though it's not an actual relationship and she's still seeing multiple guys. This just brings up an interesting question that modern women will never answer. Be it pride or ignorance, she will never explain the difference between dating and situationships, even though the answer is so simple that modern women refuse to believe it. A situationship is essentially when a woman decides just to be Chad's bed warmer for months on end because bedroom fun is the only way she's capable of feeling anything. And dating is when she uses men for entertainment, food, and distractions, and might provide the man with some emotionless bedroom fun if he goes out of his way to impress her. Hence the list of standards for him. But the men she desires will always be exempt from these bare minimums because she knows the golden rule. And the golden rule is nobody puts Tyrone in a corner.
Number 4, comes to the door when they pick you up. They don't just text or call you from their car. They should be walking up to the door like a gentleman to get you. And this is an important one, likes to see you happy. You want to be with someone who goes out of their way to see you happy and is genuinely excited to support you and wants to see that smile on your face. Number 6, can plan a date on their own, and it's not, hey, do you want to come over and hang out? If you're trying to date, you need to get with the people that are actually making plans ahead of time. The ones that are sending the text that says, hey, I would really like to take you out. Would you like to go to this restaurant with me at 6:30 tomorrow? I'll pick you up at 6:30. I would even be hesitant to go out with the guy that says, hey, do you want to go out sometime? And you say, sure. And then they ask what you want to do. Because if they can't make a solid plan that first date, then you don't know if they're actually going to be able to make plans later down the road.
You dumb bastard.
Okay, woman, I'm just gonna flat out say it. You will die alone, and here's why. You don't see men as people. You see them as animals. You feel like they need to be trained in order to bring you happiness at all costs, that they need to plan everything for you, that they need to respond to your texts in a prioritized manner. Oh, but not too soon. Then they'll come off as clingy. They even have to open the door for you because you're so insecure with yourself that somehow opening a door is an affront to your character, which is impossible. You don't have any of that. And these are all things that men need to be trained on how to do in order to cater to your feelings. But what exactly are you offering in return? Even hostage takers understand the concept of exchanges. If that gunman wants enough pizza and soda to feed his bank vault full of hostages, then he's going to have to release either the pregnant woman or the mayor's daughter in order for that to happen. What's your mayor's daughter? And why should that man give you pizza and lukewarm 6 packs of soda? I'll give you a hint. He won't, because doing so will yield him only one thing.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
Next is opening the door for you, and I feel like because of our generation, this has kind of died off a little bit. But if this is what you like and that's how you like to be treated, then there's nothing wrong with teaching people that that's what you want. And I'm really hoping we can make a comeback for this one with everyone. Another favorite, number 8, not being on their phone around you. People who really respect you and your time, those first few dates that you're going out, they're not going to be on their phone. And if they do have to make a call or text, they'll usually communicate that with you. And unless you're like a huge fan of driving, find someone that lets you be a passenger princess. Personally, there's nothing that gives me more of an ick than being asked to drive in a situation where I shouldn't have to. And on top of that, if a guy's driving you around, they should be very safe when it comes to driving and proactive about the fact that they want to keep you safe. And last but not least, you want to be with someone who asks you questions about you and doesn't just talk about themselves. Find someone who's genuinely interested and wants to get to know you on that deeper level. So this is my personal bare minimum list that helped me level up when it came to dating. Let me know what you would add and follow for more.
No one makes friends with a failure. Okay? Do you understand?
Whenever these modern broads give out these lists on the bare minimum, it's wise to keep in mind that these are bare minimums that she will never practice herself. She is not going to open the door for you. She is not going to want to see you happy. And if you ever tell her to get her face out of her phone for 2 minutes, be prepared for a fight. A fight with knives. That's because modern women believe they are exempt from all of the rules thanks to a combination of never being told no as a child and being praised for almost spelling a 3-letter word correctly at the local spelling bee. But I will give this woman a little bit of credit. If I were to ever suffer a closed head injury enough to the point where I actually want to take one of these broads out on a date, I will never, under any circumstances, allow her to drive. But that's not because I'm a gentleman. It's because I value my life and I'm not about to risk allowing a broad like this behind the wheel. But fear not, gentlemen and gents. It would take an asteroid the size of Texas to my cabeza in order for me to consider taking a chick like this out on a date. So I think we're all fairly safe on the roadways.
I always said women are bad drivers.
To be honest, I don't really want to know how many people someone has slept with. Like, it doesn't interest me at all. Like, if I'm dating someone, I'm focusing on here and now, the present, not the past. The last thing I want to think about is other women that this person has been with. Why are people even discussing it and are so intrigued by numbers? Of course, no one likes the idea of being with someone who's been like with hundreds of people, but why even talk about it in the first place? It's so off-putting even just talking about it. And why are women always targeted in this conversation about body count? What about guys? It's off-putting for us women to know that guys have been sleeping around as well.
Hey woman, it's kind of embarrassing that I have to explain this to you, but your denial is so thick that if I stuck a spoon in it, it would stand up straight. Men's body counts do not operate under the same rules as a woman's. If a woman were to be repulsed by a man's body count, then Adam West himself wouldn't have gotten nearly as much strange as he did back in the day. Now you forget that bedroom fun will not happen unless the woman consents, which means that man must be either insanely attractive, have a boatload of cash, or enough charisma to literally charm the pants off you in order to get some action. However, a woman with a high body count account shows that she has very little self-respect and even less respect for the men in her life. It also prevents her from being able to romantically bond with another man because she will always be comparing him to someone who did the deed better. In short, there's a reason why the man is called a stud while the woman is called a well, use your imagination. That is, if you have one.
Checkmate. Checkmate. Checkmate.
Dang. Men can't believe that women are single by choice because men aren't single by choice. They may be finding women to go on dates with, but nothing's sticking. And so they're lashing out at women saying things like, have fun being single or enjoy your cats. Sir, that's the whole point, is that I am having fun being single and I love my cats.
Liar! Liar! Liar!
And I also love my peace of mind, not having to be accountable to somebody who isn't really that interested. He's not interested in me and my life and things that I want and need out of life. He's interested in his own feelings of being alone and being single. And why can't women just do what he needs them to do? As men age alone, it is not good. Ask any hospice nurse or nursing home nurse or even hospital nurses. No one's visiting. And the men are not okay.
Really?
So you're single, you're happy, and you love your cats. Good for you. Congratulations. That's great. Who cares? If you're out there living the Boss Bae Yas Queen best life, then why do you even bother talking about the men? You're not showing any concern for these men, and you're certainly not showing any empathy. You're just making fun of them for the sake of your own amusement. But here's the thing. There are plenty of men out there who are single by choice. In fact, they become single by choice after having to deal with you and your endlessly smug issues. Many of us, after being put through the emotional ringer one too many times, end up being alone, and we find our peace and we choose to be single and enjoy our lives without your interference. Men are self-sufficient. We don't need you to take care of us. We've been doing that for literally our entire lives. And if we choose to have a woman enter our lives, then they will have to complement our peace and want to make our lives better. It's that simple. And yet you cannot possibly comprehend that.
But I'm finding that as I age, I am getting happier and happier with myself and my girlfriends and my family. And the idea of having to accommodate a man's insecurities or even securities is just less and less appealing. Us ladies are getting together. We're growing our friendships. We're doing things. And we're finding that we're happier than we've ever been. And men can absolutely not understand that. They want to be able to do less and less and know that there's a woman there to drive them to the hospital or organize their medications or just sit around and do whatever it is that they want to do. And take up time and space in her life and accommodate him. And I would dare say, especially the men that are just doing a bunch of dating and saying that they're having a great time and nothing is sticking for them. The men that I know that are dating a bunch are looking for a permanent woman. They're not really happy with that lifestyle.
I don't think any of that's true.
You know, it's really hard to believe you when you openly admitted to taking umbrage with a man for wanting a woman who's going to drive him to the hospital in the event of a medical emergency. Now, I couldn't care less about your happiness. That's your problem. If you're out there with your besties and wasting money on bottomless mimosas and budget tours through Europe, then good for you. I seriously could not care less. But what you're saying isn't a flex, not in the slightest. And that's because self-respecting men operate under the rule of opposites. Whatever a modern woman says about her life, assume the polar opposite, and that's what you have. You want a man to take care of you. You're old, you're tired, and you want someone to be there when things get bad. But men have too much respect for themselves to waste their time with a broad that's as bitter and uninteresting as you. Hey, but good news! You have your besties and you have your cats, so you don't need us anyway. So why are you still flapping your gums?
Of course, they have to pretend, like that's the dream. But they're looking for the ride or die until they're 80 and they know that that person's going to be there to help them change their diapers. It's terrifying to them. But me and my girlies and my family, we know that we'll show up for each other because there's no expectation that we're going to change or that there's anything wrong with us. We're just doing what we want to do and enjoying each other's time and space. No one needs to change. But men get their hands on a woman that looks like she might stick around, and immediately he's got a list of things that he's going to need from her. So I say the same thing back to those men. Have fun being single. I happen to love it.
Congratulations!
Well, hey, that's nice. Thank you so much for the blessing. I truly do appreciate that, and I actually do intend to enjoy my life. It's funny you should actually mention that, because I'm about to head over to Skeeter's house for a slingshot dodgeball grudge match. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave you with this. The more you have to brag about those friends you have that will never change, the more likely we're inclined to believe that you have nobody in your life, which makes sense. You're insufferable and have nothing to keep you occupied. You're too self-absorbed to understand that men have needs in relationships, be it physical, spiritual, or psychological, and your wants from a man will always take priority over his needs. And if that's how you choose to live your life, then that's fine. But don't be surprised when a schmuck like me comes on the internet to call you out for your malarkey. But I understand. You got nothing else going for you. You're old and have nothing to do with your life, and your hip is about to break under the weight of your own denial. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of humor is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and share this video. Let's join up and give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Gentlemen and gents, thank you once again for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.